What is up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency and blockchain education. If you guys are brand new here, we do a small little giveaway at the beginning of every single episode, and I've been doing NFTs recently. So the winner of this episode is Kaka. Thanks so much for commenting on the previous video. With your wallet address, Kaka, I just sent you an NFT on the Wax chain. So if you guys do want a chance to win, like this video, be subscribed, and comment with your Wax wallet address for a chance to win on the next video. Now, this episode is going to be a little different. I've had a ton of questions about borrowing different types of crypto and different types of money. And this comes from a background in peer-to-peer lending. As a lot of you guys know, sold my previous company to one of the PayPal co-founders. It was a peer-to-peer lending startup. And I learned a lot about lending from both ends of the spectrum, from borrowing and from the lender's perspective. So when it comes to peer-to-peer, it's near and dear to me because I've been in the crypto space for so long. And I found that there was so much potential in the DeFi space. So there's also some potential in the CeFi space, or centralized finance. And that is around things like BlockFi, Crypto.com, and other services that allow you to take out a collateralized loan. Now, I'm going to go into this a little bit later, so stick around to the end to learn more about what a collateralized loan is, as well as the loan to value ratio. First, the collateralized part. The word collateral just means that you put up an asset to borrow against it. I've done videos on these types of collateralized loans in the past from things like BlockFi, but I think what Crypto.com is doing is pretty innovative right now. And part of my thought process around this is the different products that they're offering. They have a lot of different financial instruments all available on one mobile application that I will be linking in the description below. I've been super bullish on Crypto.com for over a year now, and they have just been releasing consistent financial instruments to people all over the world in all different jurisdictions, following all the guidelines for every different country. And they just passed 10 million users, which is a huge milestone for them, as well as the space as a whole, because it's an aggregate of users using these different financial instruments. And it really proves out what people are going to be interested in the near future, as well as what people are going to be using the most over the next couple of years here. So now with 10 million users, doing these loans are going to be a huge deal. So the number one question I got when I was talking about borrowing crypto and borrowing money in general was the loan to value ratio. Now, this is effectively the amount of money that a lender will let you take out against an asset depending on the value of that asset. So there are a couple levers that lenders need to pull to make this work. There's the interest rate as well as the loan to value. If I want a loan for $100,000 and Bitcoin is the price where it is, in between 40 and 50,000 right now, I would have to deposit essentially between 4 and 5 Bitcoin to take out a $100,000 loan with a 50% loan to value ratio. And the interest rate is going to be a little bit higher. They're going to expect more interest because it de-risks them, and it's going to be a shorter loan term. Borrow against one asset to invest in the other, and vice versa. Borrow against a house or in a rental property to invest in Bitcoin, borrow against Bitcoin to invest in a rental property. That is just basically how the super wealthy operate, where they don't actually sell their assets. They just borrow against them and use every financial instrument available to borrow against that at a fair cost of capital. So a lower interest rate over fair terms that balance out the risk between the lender and the borrower. Now, jumping back to the Crypto.com piece here, I do find it superior when a service offers multiple different financial instruments that allow you to generate revenue or cash flow from a service that is additionally the one that you are borrowing from. Now, some may say this is a conflict of interest, but ultimately this is how financial institutions operate. They want you to deposit all different types of, whether it's crypto or just currency in general, and they want to be able to use it in the back end. This isn't how these crypto exchanges are working, as far as I know, and most of these DeFi operations are so transparent, you know that's not how they're operating. And the fascinating thing about this is staking. So when you're able to lock up, let's say CRO, the Crypto.com token, you're able to generate cash flow. And when you're borrowing against an asset, let's say, and you're generating cash flow from another asset, you could effectively be making your interest payments from your staking rewards that you're borrowing against from another asset. So you're generating staking rewards, and then you're borrowing against an asset from the same type of organization. That to me is something that's super powerful. And it is a little bit of mental gymnastics there to try and get over the hurdle of figuring out where the payments go, when they go, and the rewards balancing out the amount that you're making versus the expense of the debt that you're taking out on that collateralized loan. So these types of concepts may seem not new to you, everybody watching this video, but ultimately, if you go to a third world country, these do not exist for you. They are not accessible to you. You have a barrier to entry, and ultimately your capital sizes are usually too small. And that is something that I've always been super passionate about with the crypto space, is that microloans and micro lending and micro borrowing and things like that are possible. And I think that that is something that a lot of people take for granted in this space, where we're very much in our own little bubbles. We're operating in these first world countries, majority of people, where we have access to the internet, access to YouTube right now. We're watching this video. And I think that these types of instruments are extremely disruptive for third world countries, where they're able to bring them into the modern era of borrowing money against assets that they have, and ultimately getting more opportunity by learning these things, learning how to leverage these things, and just really getting into the digital generation. So that's why I'm super excited about these mobile applications like crypto.com, where it's mobile first. And I think that there are a lot of potentials there, because cell phones are everywhere. Like, every human on the planet is going to have a cell phone in a matter of a couple of years. Billions of people have them now. And I think that it is so important to think about getting this type of financial instrument in the hands of everybody. So I always like to use some examples when I make videos like this, because I'm talking about terms in general, like loan to value and collateralized loans, based off questions from you guys. And I want to go through an example real quick. So let's say I am based in Nigeria, or I'm based in sub-Saharan Africa, and all of a sudden I have my farm and my equipment goes out. Go to my nearest lender that's 10 miles away, and it's a physical building, and they say, no, actually, we can't give you a $500 loan. We need it to be, let's say, $10,000 or $1,000, something like that, something way over what I need to borrow. And it's going to have an astronomical interest rate, because we see it as high risk. You're 10 miles away right now. You don't have the infrastructure that we need to collect, so we're going to have to send somebody over there or something like that. And these are regular occurrences all over the world. This happens. So cell phones change this, because all this farmer that had his equipment break on him, he would literally be able to download this mobile application and earn cash flow to pay for that $500 loan. He gets his equipment, he starts making money again from his, let's say, his crops, and he's able to pay off that debt, maybe even refinance it and take out more to free up and grow his business and grow his farm to generate more cash flows, start staking more, and just really increase his top line. I think that these are types of things that we don't really think about, because smaller numbers often we think are, not going to need these types of loans. They're like, oh yeah, just give them a couple months, they'll be able to save up $500 and pay this off. But if it's the livelihood that is the disrupted piece, it is very important that these people have equal access to these financial instruments, because it's better for everybody. It makes the world go round. So that is it for my overview of loan to value ratios and collateralized loans in a nutshell, because you guys asked a ton of questions about this. And I think that it's really important to just understand what this means for people all over the world. Maybe not yourself, but understand what this means for people that maybe have a cell phone, but they are just in a third world country, and they have access to rough internet connection and cell phone service. They can get access to this now, which is insane to think about, that they're able to just quickly collateralize something and borrow against it, just like the super wealthy have been doing for hundreds of years. And I think that that is something that you can really sink your teeth into, wrap your head around, think about how to support projects like this. And especially with all of these DeFi swaps, the DeFi wallet that rolled out on crypto.com, and a bunch of other services that have been rolling out DeFi products. I did one on the channel, Uniswap, Uniswap's liquidity pool platform that is called Unistake. There are so many cool services out there that are going to be a bigger deal than they are right now. It's super early for DeFi, but it's very exciting to see it coming into the space. And that is it for this episode. I hope you guys like it. Slap a like and don't forget to be subscribed. And I'll see you on the next episode of Hack Crypto.